Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about is if you're working as a safety volunteer at an event and for some reason someone has been exposed to a chemical irritant to their eyes. One of the first things that we want to do is to make sure that whatever chemical it is that the person has been exposed to doesn't drip down into their face anymore. So this is, again, we're going to take out our maxi pads. I really love maxi pads. You're going to see why in a second. I use them a lot. When I'm using them for this, I usually just fold the wings in on themselves so that you don't have that sticky all around. And you're going to take and you're going to place the maxi pad on their forehead. You see, this is why nothing that you can buy, even the trauma pads, give you this expanse of protection here. And what you're doing this for is you're doing it so that nothing runs down into somebody's eyes. You know, they might have some of the chemical in their hair, they might have some of the chemical in their forehead, and this is going to keep that from happening. It's really important not to dump things over people's heads and dump things over people's foreheads and things like that, because you can be washing a great deal more of a chemical into their eyes from their hair and their forehead. You want to stop that. So you're going to put this across the top first, and then you are going to take your solution and you're going to spray your solution in their eye. It's important that their eyes open, obviously, and it's also important that you don't want to pry their eye open. You can cause damage that way. You're going to have to explain to the person that it might hurt a little bit, but that you really need them to open their eyes for you. If somebody has a great deal of pain doing this, it's okay to use a little Orajel. That's something that's been done at other events in the past and works kind of well, but I really try to avoid that. Most of the time people will be able to open their eyes enough for you to then go ahead and spray their eyes out. And you can use, these are just some ideas. I'm not going to take my hand down because it's awkward. There are many different things out there that you can use to spray. I personally prefer, honestly, I like this kind of wash bottle for irrigating wounds, and I like my Perry bottle for irrigating eyes. And you take and you're going to spray from the inside out, so that of the eye out. You don't want to spray outside in because you might be washing more chemical irritant from the sides of their face into their eyes. But you know, if you don't have, you can use just, you know, the regular saline bottle comes with sometimes with a squirt lid. One thing that I would say is to have the plastic off your saline bottle in your kit so that you can work quickly if you need to. But I also have other people in our collective who will spend time making saline solution, and I already mentioned how to do that in the other video, and bottling it up. And if you don't have any other way of administering it, pouring is fine, but again, don't pour it this way. Have them lean this way and pour this way, and then wipe that all up with the maxi pad so it's not dripping, and then have them lean this way and pour this way, and then wipe that all up with the maxi pad until it's not dripping. You don't want to have them, you don't want to do this and have water and chemical irritant all over their face and then have them turn their face, because it's just going to run backwards. So you want to make sure as you're spraying that you're dabbing and wiping off with a maxi pad, or another, you can use another gauze pad or whatever you have. Paper towels work. You just want to make sure that as little liquid or additional liquid as possible is getting into their face and eyes. I use saline solution again because I like that stacking function of having something that's antibacterial to clean out a wound and having something that can work well. I mean, saline is just like tears. It's your body's natural way of flushing the eyes anyway. You can also use bicarbonate of soda, but by that I do not mean baking soda. The reason that they use I saw people handing around baking soda at a recent event that I was at, and a lot of the baking soda that you buy in boxes has additional chemicals in it, and that's not something that you want to introduce. Maalox, specifically Maalox, not other types of milk of magnesia, and most certainly nothing it has to be plain Maalox. It can't be the mint Maalox because that's going to sting. You can use, I don't use Maalox, so I have to check mine. It's a 1% solution of the sodium bicarbonate in water, which to get 1% of sodium bicarbonate in water, you have to use like half Maalox and half water. I think that's expensive. I don't use it. I like this because we can make gallons and gallons of it for not very much money. You can also just use water if you don't have anything else around. I mean, just use what you have. Again, the night before an event, I would have already prepared some of these bottles of saline, so I would have that on hand. So once you've rinsed their eyes to the point that they're not in as much discomfort anymore. You want to talk to them. To not rub their eyes, not touch their face. We're all better at not touching our faces now, right? You want to make sure to tell them to go home and scrub themselves up with a good alkaline soap. I've heard some people say lava soap is is more alkaline than other soaps. You can also mix like a liquid soap with activated charcoal and use that to wash your hair the first time, because that activated charcoal bonds with certain carbons and things like that, and it will help absorb some of the chemical from your hair. You want to make sure you're washing in cold water. Hot water can maybe activate a burn, or it can just make things worse. I'm babbling here. It's really the coldest water you can handle, and you wash your hair first and then wash down your whole body. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm forgetting. So you can also, if somebody is complaining that their skin is burning a lot, you can use a really alkaline solution to wash their skin. You can use, there's a formula, and I think I forgot to mention this today when I was talking to some other people, where it's, let's see, I'm going to make sure I have it, 26 ounces of borax powder or washing powder, 1/2 ounce liquid sodium bisulfate, or several crushed Campden tablets. Campden tablets are something that people use when they make wine. You can buy them at most brew stores and things like that around town. And sodium bisulfate is just something that has also been known to neutralize certain chemicals that might get sprayed at events. And you mix the 26 ounces of borax or washing soda into a gallon, and the 1/2 ounce or the 4 tablets, Campden tablets, into a gallon of water. So, and then you can use that solution to wash people's skin because it helps to neutralize certain chemicals. You can also remind people that when they get home, they need to remove their clothing, and if they can't wash it right away, they need to put it in a bag so it doesn't contaminate the rest of their clothing. You need to also remind them to wash their clothing by itself. You need to remind them to wash them first with, and again, I would wash them first in cold water with the borax powder, the washing soda, or bleach would work there too. I don't like bleach on the skin, but you can use bleach in that formula that I mentioned earlier. So then you would then just also remind them that after they take that first, or after they do that first wash with the borax and washing soda, then they want to use wash them again in hot water with their regular detergent to wash all that out. So that would be like the decontamination process for once they get home. It's a good idea if you're in an event to have little quarter sheets made up with all sorts of different things. You can have quarter sheets made up about this, the process of decontaminating from chemical irritants. You can have quarter sheets made up about addressing hypothermia and addressing heat exhaustion, things like that. And those are good ideas for medics to have set up already ahead of time. So that's, I think, all we need to talk about for that. And we will then go on to what to do to help somebody who might have a bruise or other muscular or skeletal issues, injuries.